Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. Beginning on October 9th, and for the next 9 days, we conducted Operation Retrofit, an operation targeting suspected unlicensed contractors. Our undercover detective utilized a single-family home in Sun City Center, a huge community of mainly senior citizens. They contacted known or suspected unlicensed contractors who had advertised on various social media sites to do home repair and remodeling. The detectives pretended to be brothers who wanted to remodel their elderly mother's home to accommodate a wheelchair and a walker. Their mother was ailing and needed some changes to help her get around the house. In the end, 16 people were arrested, and there are charges pending on an additional 6 individuals who responded to the house to discuss repainting, tiling, bathroom remodeling, and other jobs. None of them had a contractor's license, but they were so eager to take our money. These unlicensed contractors tried to scam our detectives out about $117,000 in total remodeling costs. This is our third operation this year targeting unlicensed contractors, and once again, we had repeat offenders. You will hear and see in our undercover video that these suspects don't care about following the rules or the consequences. To the public, if you think an unlicensed contractor is not a real problem, consider these 2 very real situations. One of our suspects is a registered sex offender, and you, a homeowner, would never know that because that is a secret he will never say. Another suspect who had been a fugitive for 7 years on charges of sex assault and theft. Again, no one would ever know that. He actually bragged about his ability to avoid the law for over 7 years. My point, unlicensed contractors are pretenders. If you choose to hire one, you're inviting someone into your home who can be a convicted felon or a fugitive. This is scary stuff that puts your family at risk. On the other hand, licensed contractors must pass a criminal background and a credit check. They are legitimate. Let me also point out that our community needs to be cautious as scam artists known as gypsies and travelers will be making their way south as the weather gets colder. I am alarmed that Mr. Hanko, our arrested fugitive, was already here in the Tampa Bay area. To our citizens, and particularly our retirees and senior citizens, be aware of these unlicensed contractors. Demand to see a license. Demand and ask questions. These unlicensed contractors will have all the trappings of legitimacy and certainly appeal to your sense of savings, even provide a promise to complete the work faster because they don't need to obtain any type of permits. But it's all just an illusion. They will either take your money and disappear, take your money and do some of the work, or take your money and you will be left with shoddy work, all left putting your family at risk. In any of these situations, the common theme is they will just take your money. Like I mentioned earlier, this is our 3rd sting this year and our 6th in 5 years targeting unlicensed contractors. We have arrested 169 individuals and stopped the theft of more than $2.5 million in unlicensed construction costs. And we are not stopping there. To the unlicensed contractors who still choose to operate and prey on our community, I promise you, there's more operations coming. To the public, we will never stop going after those who go after your hard-earned money and put your family's safety at risk. I'd like to take a moment to thank our partners with Hillsborough County, Dexter Barge, our Deputy County Administrator, Hillsborough County Developmental Services, Colonel Robinson and the hardworking detectives with our Contractor's Fraud Unit, Tim McGrath, Field Manager, Division of Regulation, and Mr. Randall King, President of the Gulf Coast Building Trades Workers, and all the labor unions who ensure that we have the most qualified contractors operating in our county and beyond. At this time, I'll be more than glad to take any questions.
Sheriff, hi.
Hi.
Lauren from ABC. What is the real danger in having these contractors working in people's homes? Some people say, why do they even need a license?
Well, a lot of times it's because the shoddy workmanship that puts your family at risk. They have no qualifications. They haven't taken that state exam, state license. So you have no idea what type of work you're going to get or what type of individuals coming into your home.
Sheriff, what's being done to keep these guys in jail? For example, Donald Tucker in Operation Break Down the House and in today's operation, he was in and out of jail within hours.
I totally agree with you. We're working closely with the state attorney's office. As in some of the previous operations, we have some repeat offenders. Once it's a second time offense, it's a felony charge. It becomes much more serious, but it's just working with our Contractors Fraud Unit, and we continue to monitor these individuals and monitor their activity, and we'll continue to make sure as they're enticing other unsuspecting victims that we're targeting them.
Do we know how much money they got away with already before you guys conducted the sting?
We do not. We can only speak on what the cost of the bid would have been that we were asking them to complete, certain work that we were asking them to complete. But I imagine that the amounts are far greater.
Have you been able to tie them with any past cases of fraud or people complaining or filing reports about work that they did or didn't do?
We're trying to. We hold meetings regularly in some of these parts of the county, especially where the elderly are being targeted, to let them know, A, to warn them of these types of scams that are occurring, and B, to encourage anyone who has been a victim, swallow your pride and come forward and give us a phone call, because we can certainly most likely link it back to this I can't say a small group of unlicensed contractors who want to go out and make a living at scamming our poor community.
Aside from the sex assault people in the theft, were any of these known to law enforcement before?
They were not, the fugitive, but we didn't know he was here in the area. He's the one that we believe to be a traveler. He will travel around the country, try to stay for a short amount of time, defraud people out of these costs, never complete their construction work, and before he's able to get caught, move on to another part of the country. So obviously, probably one of the more prolific offenders that we have, and I couldn't be more excited that we arrested him. The scary part is usually the travelers and gypsies come later in the year, and it just shows us that they're here a little earlier this year, so we all need to be warned and be on the lookout for that.
You said that he was bragging about being on the run. Was he, when you say that, you mean he was saying that to the undercover detectives at the time, like, didn't know they were deputies and saying, oh, I've been on the run for someone, and then you say, okay, well, cool, I'm a deputy, you're under arrest.
Yeah, absolutely. He was quite proud of the fact that he was able to elude capture for over 7 years. He was a proud thief.
Any more questions?
Anything else? I appreciate everybody coming out. I know some of these cases may not have the appeal that some of the other cases have, until you're that victim that's left with work that was partially completed, work that now puts your family at risk, or that you're the person out that money. So again, thank you to each and every one of you to come out. This only reinforces our message and helps us get the word out. Maybe we could prevent one person in our community from becoming another victim. So thank you and have a wonderful day.